lesson, let us declare some variables and write some code blocks and understand more on the accessibility of these variables inside code blocks. So let's start with int a equal to 10, and then I'm going to put an if block. All of these if blocks don't have any specific problem solving criteria. It's just to understand the blocks and where all you can access the variables. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to declare another variable b equal to 20 inside the if block, and inside this again I'm going to have one more code block, and that would be having another variable called c equal to 30. So what do we have here? We have a equal to 10, which is inside the main method, and then we have b equal to 20, which is inside this if block, and then you have c equal to 30, which is inside this inner if block. Now if I put system.out.println a plus b plus c, everything is good. This inner if block can access a because a is declared up above here and it's in the outer block, and then it can also access b because b is also declared above this block and it's also part of the outer block, and then c of course is within this block itself and it is just declared before this line number 8. So at line number 8 all three a, b and c are visible and it can be used. So now if I try to compile this and run it, it should be happy. There we go. So 10 plus 20 plus 30 is 60, and it's all hunky-dory and happy here. And now if I move this line from here to outer block, one block which is outside of this inner if block, and then try to run this code, it comes up with a compilation error. It's saying cannot find symbol C, and it's giving the small caret here pointing to C, so it's not able to find C. And the reason for that is this line number 9 at this point is part of the outer block. So the block starts here, ends here, and this one is part of this outer block. And at this point, at the outer block level, it cannot see C because C is declared in the inner block. But however, it can actually see A and B because they are part, first of all, A is part of the outer block, so all the inner blocks can see anything that is declared outside of it. And then B itself is declared within this block, so with A and B it doesn't have any issues. So if you now get rid of C and then try to run this, it is happy. And now if I move this outside of this block and all the way to the methods block of code, so the method starts here, ends here, and now I move this system.out.println as part of the outer block, which is the method block. Here again, it's going to complain about B because B is part of the inner block. So B is declared inside this block, and so at line number 10 it can only see A but it cannot see B, which is part of the inner block. So if I now try to run this here, it's complaining that it cannot see B. So at this point it can only see A. Right now it's happy. So the most important thing to understand here is any variable that is declared in the outer block will always be visible by all the blocks which are children of this outer block. But all the variables that are declared inside the inner blocks are only visible to the block in which it is declared and all its children blocks, but it cannot be seen by the statements which are in the outer block of code. And another thing to note here is that we have two inner blocks here, which are both of them are if statements. But you can have any combination of if or while loops or for loops or whatever it is, any kind of conditional or loops can be had in place of if, and there is no limit on how many such children can be put. You can nest these blocks to any depth. So there is no restriction on how many children a particular block of code can have.